Welcome to the KREF High School Huddle on the KREFSports.tv YouTube channel. A lot to cover today as we've had a ton of interesting developments. We've got a shot clock. We've got new coaches. We've got the soccer district standings starting to take shape as those postseason races intensify as we come down the stretch of the regular season. We'll get into all of that and more. Remember, follow us on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, on X or Twitter, and on Facebook as well, where we're going to post everything, highlights, graphics, and updates included. That's Connor Pasby. I'm Grayson Singleton. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to join us here on the KREF High School Huddle. And let's go ahead and start, like we always do, with the best thing that we saw this past weekend. And there was a Moore Classic on the diamond as Moore, Southmoore, and Westmoore renewed their rivalry on the baseball diamond. And it was Moore for the second straight year that came out on top, starting it with a huge win over Southmoore, 18-1 in the first game. And then in the second game, it was a Maverick Gardner go-ahead hit that drove in the eventually winning run over Westmoore to give the Lions the two-game sweep. Maverick Gardner in that series, by the way, was 4 for 8 with 4 RBIs in the two games. It is now back-to-back years that Moore has swept that round robin with Southmoore and Westmoore. And joining us hot off the presses is the Moore shortstop. We're here with Maverick Gardner, Moore shortstop, and the Lions took two games from Southmoore and Westmoore, 18-1 over Southmoore and 3-2 over Westmoore over the weekend. And Maverick, I want to start with this, man. You had a fantastic weekend, had the great game against Southmoore, and then you drove in the go-ahead run against Westmoore. How were you feeling this weekend? And, what was it like going up against those two, especially in that big situation against Westmoore?
I felt really good going into it. I knew my team had my back, and I knew going into that last at bat it was going to come down to me. I just knew from the start of the inning, I knew something was going to come down to me, and I was just ready for the moment, and I was ready for that fastball.
Man, what's it like when you're in the hole and then you're on deck and you can start to see that it's going to come down to you? What is your preparation mentally for that plate appearance like?
I was preparing mentally in the dugout before the inning even started, and once I got in the hole, I was locked in. I was ready for my at bat, and I was just ready to go out there and do my thing for my team.
You guys are 20-9 on the season so far. You've enjoyed a lot of success. What has come together with this team to where you guys have had such a really good first part of the year heading into the postseason?
Our defense has really stepped up when we needed it. Our pitching staff is really, really talented, and our defense as a whole is very good. And I think our defense is one of the best defenses in the state, to be honest.
Why do you think that? What makes you so sure?
I trust my guys. I wouldn't want to be on the field with anyone else besides them. And I grew up playing with them, and I just know each and every one of them can do their spot defensively very, very well.
Yeah. No, that's cool. You guys were 19-17 last year. That's how you guys finished. And now all of a sudden, you've got this record where you are now. You've already exceeded last year's win total, and we're not even, we still got 2 weeks left of this thing. What do you credit that sort of a turnaround to?
A lot of credit comes from offseason. This offseason, we stuck together as a team, and we got a new coach with Joe Haddix, and I really like how our team worked so hard, not only on the field, but in the classroom and in the weight room. We worked extremely hard, staying in the field house, staying out late so many nights, and we just worked our butts off all off season.
Talk about Coach Haddix for a second. What has he brought in his first year with the program?
He brought so much confidence into this team. He established each and every one of us, and I feel so proud to play for him and this team, and he's brought so much to this team.
Man, going down the stretch of the regular season into the postseason, man, what do you guys have left to do? What's that last final piece that you guys need to put together before you go in to regionals and hopefully to state?
Just building confidence going into these last couple of weeks, heading into the playoffs, and just heading into these games with everything we have left and hopefully looking for a better outcome than we did last year.
Yeah. Couple more for you. When you guys go into that classic last weekend where you're playing against the other two more schools in the district and you come out of there with 2 wins, what does that mean for you guys being the best team in Moore just based off of that weekend?
It felt amazing, and coming off of back-to-back city champions from last year as well.
Yeah.
It felt really good. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Anything that you have, we know you want to win state as a team accomplishment, but anything else you left that you want to accomplish in your baseball career at Moore individually?
I would like to host a regional before I graduate. So I'm hoping it's this year, and if not, we're going to try again next year.
Hey, Maverick Gardner, thanks so much for joining me, man. I'll let you get back to you today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So that was Maverick Gardner, the shortstop for Moore. And Connor, Moore's starting to really turn this thing around. They only won 19 games last year. So far this year, they've won 20 and are a really interesting team going into the postseason.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week, too. Moore coming into the year, they're a team that really no one talked about because no one knew about the Moore Lions coming into the season. First-year head coach Joe Haddix has done an outstanding job with this team, and Maverick Gardner really leads the way for them. We saw him a bunch last year, and he had a big weekend. He continues to come through for them offensively, and they just got baseball players, man. They got two-way guys that can step up and play at a high level in the lineup. They can get the job done on the mound, too. So Moore's been a pretty impressive team to watch as of late.
And speaking of Moore, they had a district home and home with the district-leading Edmond Santa Fe Wolves, except this one belonged to the Wolves. In Game 1, it was Savion Sims who gave Chris Webb, his coach, 4 innings of work in the start, striking out 10 of the 12 outs that he got, only allowing 2 hits, and Edmond Santa Fe went on to win that game 10-3. Part of that thanks to a Wakely Kalapek home run. In Game 2, that was yesterday, Carson Cooper did much of the same that Savion Sims did. He went the distance, going all 7 innings, striking out 9, and again, only allowing 2 hits as the Moore offense was stymied in the district home and home on Monday and Tuesday. Edmond Santa Fe won that game 6-0. And Santa Fe is now 11-1 in district play, and are 2 games clear of second place Choctaw with 1 series left to go. So Santa Fe gets that big win. The bats came alive. The pitching staff was incredible and dominant. Edmond Santa Fe on a collision course with Edmond Memorial on the west side?
Possibly, yeah. Edmond Santa Fe's got all the weapons, and we talk about Sims and Brumball all the time, but they got different guys stepping up too. Hayden Tao, who had that 3-run shot that we saw yesterday in the win over Moore. Savion Sims, I mean, he's a must-watch guy when he is on the mound. High velocity, a lot of movement on his fastball and the pitches that he works with. Man, he's an outstanding player. And Edmond Santa Fe, like you just mentioned, Grayson, right up there with Memorial, 2 Edmond teams that are playing elite baseball right now.
I mean, it's crossed the point where we've gotten from great to absolutely top of class in terms of those top teams in the entire state of Oklahoma. Bixby's up there, Stillwater up there on the east side, but on the west side, it is starting to become apparent that given everything that we have from the regular year, it's going to come down to Memorial and Santa Fe out of Edmond. By the way, Edmond Santa Fe plays Friday against Westmoore in a game that will be on KREFsports.tv. I think you'll be there.
We'll be there, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be there, yeah.
Very, very cool. By the way, last week I did the Edmond Santa Fe baseball show. It's quite a bunch that they got. That was really fun, and Coach Webb has a very fun bunch of guys on that Wolves team.
Yeah, great personalities, and you can tell they have fun when they're out there. They got great chemistry, really unselfish play between every single player in that lineup for Edmond Santa Fe. So, yeah, they've been fun to watch.
Fun team, also a very grounded and faith-based team as well. So a lot of cool stuff going on with Santa Fe baseball. Let's divert for a second because we mentioned at the top that we have new coaches joining some of our KREFsports.tv schools, Southmoore being one of them. We'll highlight 2 here today. But Brett Jones, who was a former assistant at Norman North, is taking over as the head coach of Southmoore football, and Connor Pasby caught up with him this morning to talk about his new home.
Well, Coach, you have that head coaching experience being at Bristow before Norman North. What head coaching kind of tactics do you bring to the table?
You know, I think coming into the Southmoore situation, and I told the players this, I told the coaches this when I've already met them, and, you know, I don't think this is a bulldoze everything down and start all over. I don't think it's a rebuild. I want to take what was good and what they're trying to do there, because I think they were on the right track, just to enhance everything, not replace. I think I come in as a facilitator, as a servant, and just trying to lead them and take what was good and keep it. And let's fix what needs to be fixed. But other than that, they have a great plan in place. And of course, I'm going to put my stamp on some things. But just to really kind of just facilitate what they've got good going on there at Southmoore.
All right, Connor, from things that we didn't see in that interview, was there anything else that should make Southmoore fans excited about their new head coach, Brett Jones?
Well, Brett Jones has a lot of experience as head coach, spent time at Bristow before he had that 1-year stint at Norman North, and we mentioned it in the interview, but man, Justin Jones, when he has every assistant that he has, it feels like they take that next step and get a head coaching job. So credit to Justin Jones, what he does with his coaches, and Brett Jones is one of them. Outstanding guy. He mentioned that it's not a rebuild situation at Southmoore. He's going to take what's good and make it better at Southmoore, and I'm ready to see Brett Jones and that SaberCats team next season.
Not a rebuild, but continuing to build on what's already there. So remember, if any parts of these interviews that are cut out, you can check them out at full length on our KREF Sports TV YouTube channel, where we post the entirety of these interviews that we do. Let's transition to the pitch, because last night was a big one in soccer, and our highlight matchup last night was on the girls' side of things between Edmond North and Deer Creek. Both of these teams coming into play unbeaten in district play, and only one was going to remain that way. And through the first 40 minutes, we had no clue because it was scoreless. Both teams' keepers were immaculate through the first 40, and both teams got quite a few shots up on goal. But in the second half, 3 minutes in, it was Riley McClanahan that notched the first goal of the game, and then 3 minutes later, followed it up with an encore. She had a fantastic performance. A Julia McBride goal later on in the second half propelled Edmond North to a 3-0 victory over Deer Creek, putting Edmond North in the driver's seat for one of the number 1 seeds in the state playoffs. As this team was a team I was warned was pretty good. Hadn't seen them play in person yet. Deer Creek, a very good team in their own right, but Edmond North, that's a star-studded lineup, and it came to show, particularly in that second half last night.
Yeah, Grayson, they're the real deal. And Riley McClanahan, we saw her a bunch last year. She's playing even better this year. I mean, she is clutch in every single phase of soccer. She continues to have clutch goals for her team, playing at a high level. And every single game, when we are able to watch her play, she puts on a great performance for the Edmond North Wolves. Yeah,
no doubt. And not shown in that clip that we played because of the goals, she had a ton of excellent through balls and passes that could have led to goals that weren't finished out. This Edmond North team is really, really, really good. It was pretty cool to watch that one.
Yeah, a firepower offensively. That's what Edmond North has. I mean, it feels like every single time they're scoring for sure, and it is coming from Riley McClanahan.
Yeah, no doubt. Fun game there last night. On the boys' side of things, it was equally as important, because while they weren't fighting for the top of the district standings, there are a lot of standings implications involved in this one. So Edmond North came into the game 1 game ahead of Deer Creek on the boys' side of things. And it looked like it was going to stay that way because neither team could score. As a matter of fact, we made it through 80 minutes and then 20 more minutes without a ball going across the goal line. So we go into penalty kicks, and after a save from Deer Creek, the Antlers and defender Gavin Schwarb had a chance to win it.
Looking to send the Antlers into a tie with Edmond North in the district standings. Game, set, match. The Antlers win it.
So the Antlers do win it, officially 1-0 in extra time in a game that lasted so long. It was a fun one to be a part of, but God, it was long last night. Deer Creek and Edmond North now tied in the district standings at 4-2. What do you make of that marathon from 12 hours ago?
Defense, keeping the ball out of the net for both teams. But, man, Gavin Schwarb, it's always tough for a player in PKs to be in that situation where you have a chance to win it or the game keeps on going. And Gavin Schwarb came up clutch for his team with that PK goal to win it for the Antlers.
You know, what was the funniest thing about rewatching that? as I was preparing for this was how long his hands were on his hips as he was approaching the ball. I was like, I've never seen that before. His hands came off of his waist right before he kicked the ball, which was very interesting. A little bit laissez-faire, but hey, whatever works for you. We have another new coach in the Moore district. It's actually in Moore High School, as Cameron Bennett is the new head football coach for the Lions. And just like he did with Brett Jones, this dude sat down with him to discuss the new change of regime at Moore.
Coach, what should fans, parents, and people who just watch Moore football, what should they know about this new era of Lions football under Cameron Bennett?
Well, I mean, our mission statement kind of speaks for itself. We want to be the toughest, best working, most competitive, best disciplined team in the state of Oklahoma. And, you know, we want to be tough. We want to work hard. We tell our kids every day, man, we're competing every day. And we want to be obviously disciplined. That takes care of everything else, to be honest with you. But, you know, at the end of the day, we want to compete. We want to work hard. We want to strive. We want to be sound in everything we do. We want to play fast at times, and we want to slow things down at times on offenses. And we want to win off three phases of the game. I mean, you know, sometimes people take for granted for special teams, but, man, special teams is a huge part too. And we want to be successful in all three areas. And that's what we're going to strive to be. I know that they graduated 32 guys last year. They graduated a bunch. And so we got a lot of young guys with inexperience, but man, it's at the same time, that's even exciting because you got more guys that are going to be fighting day in and day out to have that job. And that's really what we want to build. We want to build something where you got to compete every day because that dude behind you or beside you wants your job, you know, and that's what we're trying to be here where, you know, it's that number two guy is just as good as the number one guy, you know, and that's what we want to build here.
So Southmoore has a new coach. Moore has a new coach now, Connor Pasby. What did you learn from your interview with Coach Bennett?
Well, Coach Bennett's been he was at Norman North for 7 years, and he's another guy that's been coaching forever at so many levels, so many classes in Oklahoma, out of the state as well. But Cameron Bennett, man, toughness and physicality. That's what you're going to have with his teams every single game, and I am ready to watch a team that maybe lost quite a bit from last year, so they're going to have some guys that are ready to step up into a bigger role. But, yeah, toughness and physicality stands out with Cameron Bennett. He's a very energized guy, and you're going to see that energetic side with this Moore Lions team.
Yeah, no doubt. And this was a Moore team that has been built on physicality. They were very physical and big team last year. So excited to see Coach Bennett look to continue that trend with the Lions. Let's go back to the pitch before we get out of here for the day. Bixby and Owasso as we traveled over to the east side to cover this one. And on the girls is what's going to draw our interest here. It was a 1-0 win over Owasso for the Spartans, who now with this win are one of 5 district unbeatens left in the entire state. This is going to get really, really fun. So Norman North is still unbeaten. They've got a makeup district game as well tagged on to the end of their regular season. Edmond North, who beat Deer Creek last night. Westmoore is still unbeaten, and Jinx is still unbeaten as well in their district slates. Now, the interesting thing with Westmoore is that Bixby and Westmoore is the final game of the regular season for both of those teams, and that could very well decide who could potentially get a 1 seed in the state playoffs. So that's going to be fun. This one literally going to come all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, outstanding, Grayson. Both teams 6-0, and when you talk about just overall record, Bixby 11-1, Westmoore 11-2. So best on best in that district going at it, and we'll have it on KREFsports.tv. That's going to be a lot of fun as we get down to the finish line for soccer with some of those makeup games that are still on the schedule with several of our teams. So that's going to be must-watch TV for those games.
What did Charles Barkley say? 2 words, must-see TV.
Must-see TV, there you go.
Oh, my goodness. That's yeah, fantastic. And that gives us another opportunity to tell you to make sure that you are tapped in with us on social media at KREFsports.tv, on IG, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as subscribing to this very YouTube channel. That'll do it for another edition of the KREF High School Huddle here on KREFsports.tv YouTube. For Connor Pasby, I'm Grayson Singleton. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day, everybody.